The superstars of Fan Control Football Season 2.0 are not only the who's who of celebrity team owners and influencers, not the 21 million live views of our Emmy-nominated broadcast. Across Twitch, DAZN, Fubo, NBCLX, Peacock. Or our highlights that scored over 100 million views. And we can't forget best-in-class sponsors. But the biggest star of Season 2 is our play-calling app that allow fans to control the action on the field. Fans pick a team, pick a play, 4 run plays, 4 pass plays to choose from. The play with the most votes is called in real time.
We got it.
This is where video games and live action come to life. And now, Fan Control Sports and Entertainment brings you Fan Controlled Hoops, where fans call the shots. Coming 2023, the future of sports is here, and it's Fan Control. Power to the fans.
Are you ready for it?
This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
Don't cause a ruckus. We talking that talk, just spitting them facts. We setting them traps and cracking them backs. We got all the news, we know all the stories. We start from the bottom, rise up to the glory. We say what your local reporters can't say. We break down the X's and O's on the play. It's AJ, King, Con, and Jose. Ruckus. We call it right on the first take, and they love us. Yeah, we the best when it comes to sports debate. Find the podcast and let it play. If we get you in your feelings, that's okay. AJ and Jose send you on your way like, bruh, don't cause a ruckus. We just call it how we see it, big bro. And that we will always.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Don't Khahs a Ruckus, the sports debate show that tries not to take itself too seriously. I am your host, Jose Ruckus, and joining me, as always, my good friend and arch rival, AJ Kyle. What's going on, AJ?
Not too much, man. Just hanging out. It's been I feel like I've had a week of bad luck, just like things breaking on me, having to fix them, go buy replacements. So I'm looking forward to turning it around. And
yeah,
talking
absolutely.
sports.
Okay, well, if you didn't know, Don't Khahs a Ruckus is a sports debate show that goes live on twitch.tv/fan-controlled-sports every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It also goes up on YouTube and podcast services the next day, but you can be watching it live. Just like Ruthless Cutie is, just like Peanut FCF is, just like Freddie Airmail is. Shout out Ruthless Cutie, International Women's Day. So, shout out to her. She does a bunch of great work. But we got a whole bunch of cool topics because yesterday, sports media just went insane with all these different rumors, all these different, moves, transactions. It's been a crazy week. I thought we were done talking about the NFL for a while, but they just popped off. So, I don't know. Let's just get into it. Let's talk about yesterday. Lamar Jackson got franchise tagged, the non-exclusive franchise tag by the Ravens. They haven't been able to get a contract settled with Lamar Jackson. He wants a very high-paying contract. He wants it fully guaranteed. Ravens aren't ready to commit for that. So they're putting it up on the auction block, saying somebody else come make a contract, we'll match it. Show him what the open market looks like. Can he get the contract that he thinks he deserves? AJ, do you think Lamar messed up? Do you think the Ravens messed up? What do you think of this entire situation?
Oh man, I think it's one of those situations where I don't think anyone messed up, but Lamar Jackson messed up. Really, let's be honest here. He tried to bluff his way to like a perfect pot, and what ended up happening was the Ravens organization called that bluff. They're like, you don't have any good cards behind there. We have a royal flush. We have a royal flush. You need a full house to beat this, basically, or like something along those lines. I'm not a good poker player. That's probably completely wrong, and I have it backwards. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I got you.
He bluffed his way to the end, and he lost. Man, he's gonna be in a situation where no team, and we saw it, will pay that enormous contract for him. They wanted to negotiate him based off the fact that he was unhappy in Baltimore. So now he's put himself in a situation where he either has to not play for the next season and force Baltimore to make a trade, or, play for the Baltimore, because he's like, no teams are interested anymore. The Falcons are out, Panthers are out. Literally almost every team that was interested in getting Lamar Jackson is out after all this stuff. And I don't know if he thinks it's great because he's going to have a guaranteed contract, but I think he made a mistake here. I really think that this was a situation where you had to read the market. And while he is, in my opinion, probably one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the league right now, the market is in a state of flux in quarterbacks, and the fact that everybody thinks the quarterbacks are bad, and we're looking to the new generation. So
for this Lamar
What do you
Jackson
think?
situation, what's really going on here? It's not the money. It's not the dollar amount. The Ravens would have made him one of the highest paid quarterbacks, probably. I mean, I would assume they would go number 1, but top 3 for sure, competing with the Patrick Mahomes contract. It's this fool's errand of trying to get a fully guaranteed contract that's ruining this situation with Lamar Jackson. Because, I mean, I just got to be honest, the Browns were idiots when they signed this fully guaranteed contract with Deshaun Watson. It just makes no sense. I don't know why they did it. I mean, it was this long shot to get this quarterback that they thought could turn the franchise around, but that's not happening anytime soon.
No.
What's crazy with this Lamar Jackson situation is that he's so determined to get it, and it makes no sense for any team to pay him this contract that he wants. I know there's a lot of talk on Twitter, as always, that there's this collusion going on against Lamar Jackson to lower this contract number. The owners don't want to give it a fully guaranteed contract. I don't think it's collusion. I just think that the owners aren't stupid enough to give a quarterback who, for the last 2 seasons, has derailed his team's Super Bowl hopes with an injury, give that guy a fully guaranteed contract. It's not like having Lamar Jackson on your team guarantees that you're going to win a Super Bowl. It doesn't even guarantee that you're going to get to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's playoff record is he's 1-3. He has struggled in the playoffs. This is not a plug and play guy that's going to make your team amazing. Might have a great regular season and all that, but this is not Patrick Mahomes. This is not a guy that you feel like he can just win you a Super Bowl if you have him on your team. He's not that guy. I don't know what to tell you. He won an MVP. He won an MVP in 2019. He hasn't done much since that.
So, question: do you think he's this generation? Even though RG3 wasn't that long ago, do you think he's this generation's RG3?
No, I don't, because he's not. His career's not going to get derailed by injuries. I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to be out of the league after a couple of years because of injuries. I just don't think that he's a guy that you can go all in on, because there is this potential for injury. As we saw, that was a good team this year, a good team that could have made a really deep playoff run. But at the end of the season, Lamar Jackson got hurt. And that's a huge gamble that you have to take when this guy wants a fully guaranteed contract. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I genuinely agree with you wholeheartedly, and I know this is one of the few times we agree, but this is more his mistake than owners colluding to bring his price lower. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for the guaranteed part of that contract, you're 100% right. All these teams would come a running, but I just think it was one of those situations where he thought too highly and played the bluff too long.
Nobody values him as much as he values him, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's another wrinkle to this that I actually think is pretty interesting. If you've been paying attention to the Deshaun Watson situation with his fully guaranteed contract, he essentially has to restructure his deal every single year until the end, just so that they can afford to put a team around him. How can you justify doing that with a guy who doesn't have an agent? Look what it takes to get this first contract signed with Lamar Jackson. This is a dude who you're going to have to restructure every year. You're going to have to negotiate a restructuring, and this guy doesn't have an agent. He's this hard to negotiate with. I think that's a huge part of it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a good point that I didn't even think of. Like, if he's this hard-headed and difficult to negotiate, imagine having to do it every year. Like, it'd be a nightmare.
You're signing up for just like this. It's
Headache.
a roller coaster. You never know what to expect with it. We'll see how this Lamar Jackson deal gets done. At this point, I expect him to stay with the Ravens. I don't see a lot of teams interested in giving a contract that the Ravens won't match, and I don't see a lot of teams signing up to pay him this massive contract and also give up 2 first-round picks to get him, which is what the franchise tag requires. It's why the Miami Dolphins are out on this situation. It's why pretty much everybody is. I know you're excited this weekend when the Falcons, there were some reports that the Falcons might be interested. That didn't go through.
Washed away.
Are you still kind of interested in that maybe?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Falcons should still pursue it. And I know that like we just gave all the reasons not to, but the reason why I say that is because I think they have a good cap structure for the next few years, depending on how Lamar Jackson like acts. And I feel like it could be a situation where if they do well and they are a young team, maybe they could coax him into being a little more lenient with his, payment structure, as long as they're, perennial playoff favorites. And I genuinely think Lamar Jackson on that team, especially in that division, it could be deadly. It could be perennial playoff situation. It's just, man, that would be a headache. And that would be the Atlanta's the only team that would allow that type of drama to go down. Let's be honest. But I don't think it's good for them as a whole, as an organization, for all the reasons we mentioned. But I wouldn't be mad. I'd be pretty happy if he came still. It'd be annoying, but pretty happy.
Okay, interesting. I like it. Let's get into the next topic because there's a bunch of quarterback controversies that we need to go through.
I really hate this.
Rumors came out over the weekend.
This.
Tom Brady could be coming back to the Dolphins. They're saying keep your eyes open. Keep watching this situation. AJ, tell me what you think.
Retire. Retire, old man. You're not good. We saw this last season. He is not good. Desmond Ridder put him on his patootie. All right. I'm trying my best to keep it G-rated. I'm probably going to let it slip like I always do. But seriously, the man needs to retire. Tom Brady is old. He didn't play well. He like Peanut said, I agree with it. Get over yourself. You're done. Okay. It just doesn't make sense to me. He didn't do well in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was bending over backwards to make sure he was happy. Miami looks great.
Didn't work out well in Tampa. They won a Super Bowl.
That means it worked out well for them.
Okay, I thought you said that it didn't work out well. I was confused. They won.
No, I said it worked out well. Like, it did work out well. Not didn't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But like that last season was not good. He himself is not good. If Tua is back to 100%, I will take Tua over an aging Brady all day.
Ridiculous.
You think I'm wrong?
I think you're 100% wrong.
You yourself were saying that Brady needs to retire.
No, I was all last year. All I was talking about, I think Brady was fine last year. I think he was fine. I don't think the problems in the Tampa Bay locker room were with Tom Brady. I think it was an injured offensive line, constant injuries at the receiver, constant injuries on the defense, constant injuries on the wide receiver core. Tom Brady is fine. And I will take Tom Brady over Tua right now. Guaranteed. If I was the Dolphins, I would take Tom Brady over Lamar Jackson if that was the conversation. And I'll tell you why.
Are signing this man's death certificate with the O-line that Miami has. He's going to get broken in half. He's too old to be behind that O-line.
No, Tom Brady is perfect for this offense. One, is their offensive line top tier? No, they're middle of the pack. But they are better than what Tampa Bay was fielding last year with all those injuries. Nobody gets the ball out quicker than Tom Brady does. And Tom Brady passing it to guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, these extremely fast guys on the outside who are extremely capable of racking up yards after the catch. Tom Brady is perfect for this offense. Their defense is solid. The Dolphins are a Super Bowl ready team that needs a Super Bowl ready quarterback, and that's not what Tua is. I don't know if Tua can ever in his career play an entire season when you see the kind of injuries this guy takes, the concussions, all that stuff. If you bring Tom Brady onto the Dolphins right now, I think they are far and ahead the Super Bowl favorites.
I think that is a bold statement, but you're right, 100%. That is a team that would do well, but you are glancing at the fact that there is an O-line deficiency there. They need to drink their Ovaltine, man. They need to bulk up because that team is going to hurt this old man because they're not going to cover him. He's going to get sacked. And not only that, look at what happened to Tua with that O-line. He got hurt.
Tom Brady is not
times.
Tom Brady is not Tua.
I'm just
everybody has said Tua doesn't know how to fall. Tua is small. He takes injuries hard. He's also left-handed. And by the way, the Dolphins actually have a very, very good left tackle who doesn't get to play in his natural position because Tua is left-handed. They're having this weird amalgam of moving their guys around because of this left-handed situation with Tua. You let these guys play their natural positions, play the game the way that they played all through college, they're going to play much, much better with Brady behind that offensive line. Okay? When you hear people talk about it, when they tackle Tom Brady, they say it feels like you're tackling water. Like this guy, like you move through him. He goes down so soft. When they say the guys like Tua, it's like tackling, like running through a pane of glass. Tom Brady, he's gotten sacked a lot throughout his career, and he's never gotten hurt. You look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Tua, you look at Tom Brady. When was the last time Tom Brady missed a game? I'll tell you, it was like 2016, okay? That was the last time Tom Brady was so injured that he couldn't play a game. This guy is more dependable than Tua is.
I mean, I disagree with you, but apparently Crypto Lux agrees with you and doesn't think I'm a good sports analyst. So, hey, man, if you want to put money on like the Dolphins
I don't know if he's coming back.
The Super Bowl favorites, if he comes back, go for it, man. But all I'm saying is I think that O-line is going to be deficient. He's going to get hurt. And as much as you like think he's the fastest man alive, he's aging, man. We saw it last season. He's not at his top. He's not at his A game. But you do bring up good points, man. His accuracy is there with Waddle and Hill. He's going to get points up in like the bunches. Like it's not going to be difficult for him to score. What I'm concerned about genuinely is his health and if that O-line can like be bolstered in the offseason to protect him. That's all that needs to happen. And then you're right, 100%. But at the same time, he's old. He's gonna get hurt.
I don't know. He hasn't gotten hurt yet. And AJ, don't worry about the comments too much, okay? A lot of people would look like bad sports analysts when they have to debate me, okay?
Oh, you're not wrong. I'm real.
up there. I'm up there. Another level.
You bring in some good facts, man. Like you come in hot with the statistics, and I'm coming in like, you know what? I'm bringing in my bass musician thought process.
You got a lot of feeling.
I got feeling,
and that's important.
This is from years of watching on a tour bus. All right, dude. You want to ask me how to set up an entire concert? I got you. You want me to talk about like the different run packages? I'm gonna be a little confused and slow. I'm gonna be honest with you. Give me basketball and soccer. I got you all day, baby.
Well, let's talk about another aging quarterback real quick because Aaron Rodgers, he has emerged from the darkness. He has emerged from the darkness. He's seen the light. The Packers have given him permission to talk to the Jets during the legal tampering period. AJ, Jets fans, the New York media, everybody seems super confident that if Aaron Rodgers goes to the New York Jets, they become Super Bowl contenders. How do you feel about this?
Do you really think that?
I don't.
I need to ask.
I don't at all.
I'm gonna say
I
no,
don't at all.
There's no way. No.
There's no way.
There's no way.
I don't think this Jets team is as good as they think they are. I'm just going to be 100% honest with it.
I agree.
I think there's talent there.
You know my feelings on New York's teams, specifically the Jets. I agree with you. There's talent.
But what I mean,
but it's wasted.
You look at this roster. Like defensive performance is the one thing a team cannot count on year after year. It's the most swingy thing in the NFL is how well your defense performs. So they had a great defense this year. I don't know if that defense is going to be great next year. I don't know if Sauce Gardner is as good as everybody thinks that he is. Okay, I mean, look, the guy holds on every play. The guy holds on every play. Eventually the refs are going to start calling it. Okay, this was the Richard Sherman
in the
problem.
Playoffs. They will. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he's a little overhyped. I don't think I saw that much from him.
I don't know. I'm not going to say Sauce Gardner is overhyped. I'm going to say he's rightly hyped. I think he's a good guy, good defensive player. He's a rookie coming in. I think you're right 100%. He holds a lot, but it's his first season. He's going to get called out on it. The coaches are going to focus on that. But again, you're on point with the fact that defenses are the most wild thing in football. One year defense is good, the next year it's not. And as much as like I want to like disagree with you on the fact that like I don't think the Jets are. I agree with you on the fact that the Jets aren't going to be good. Even if you add Aaron Rodgers, it's the same situation with Tom Brady. The man is old. You know, we got to be real with this, guys. We've talked about this before. They're not playing at their peak. They're on the downfall. And this man will get hurt again and will be out. And you're going to go back to your backup quarterbacks. Now, to me, it's a situation of like, let's move on to the next generation. If the Jets organization as a whole want to bring Aaron Rodgers, they have made mistakes as an organization as a whole for the last God knows how long. Look at I saw a meme, or it wasn't a meme, it was a statistic, sorry, today of the win-loss records of every single quarterback in Jets history. None of them had a positive win-loss. They were all way worse than they should.
Bad franchise.
Mark Sanchez was probably their best quarterback, and that's saying something. So it just says to me that this is a terrible organization. You want to make bad moves, do what the Jets are doing. Don't get Aaron Rodgers. The man needs to retire. He's too old. Go find a new guy.
We'll get into this in a second, but I think there were a lot of other free agent quarterbacks that were probably worth more to go after, considering, I mean, you look at this massive, like $90 million contract that Aaron Rodgers has signed. You have to take that on. It's going to hurt your salary cap. And you look at the offensive weapons they have. They have Breece Hall is coming off an ACL injury. We don't know if Breece Hall is going to be the same player when he gets back. They have Garrett Wilson, who put up a lot of yards last year, won Offensive Rookie of the Year, even though he shouldn't have. And when you look at those stats, it's like, were teams even respecting the passing game of the Jets enough to cover Garrett Wilson that much? No. You look at their division, Buffalo, injured secondary. Dolphins, injured secondary. That's a lot of games to exploit an injured secondary. I don't think that it's a weapons upgrade if he goes to the Jets. I don't think it's more likely for him to win a Super Bowl, especially in a division with Josh Allen. You look at this Dolphins team. They look great. Yep. They look good to go. You look at, I mean, the Patriots, they're not terrible. Bill Belichick's always going to be able to scheme you a loss. He's always going to be able to do it. And so, I mean, there's a chance Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets and they still finish last in the division. I think it's ridiculous to go all in on this.
It adds nothing to his legacy to go to the Jets. It really doesn't.
No, absolutely not. He's already a Hall of Famer. It's exact. We've seen a Packers quarterback go to the Jets. I mean, when Brett Favre did it, it didn't work out too good. I don't expect it to work out much better for Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, honestly, besides Breece Hall, who you mentioned earlier is hurt, you can argue Michael Carter potentially and Garrett Wilson. What is their offense? There's no other wide receiver.
There's no identity to the offense.
Exactly.
There's nobody there who you trust as like that's a playmaker. I mean, you look at other teams. You have the Dolphins have Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen. Yep. They've got Stephon
Waddle's
Diggs.
A great backup.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle's really, really good. I mean, you look at good teams have this offensive identity. They have a dude on that team. You're like, that guy's going to make a play. Seattle, you guys like DK Metcalf. You look at the 49ers, they have like 5 of them. You look at the Chiefs, they've got like 5 of them. Like that's what it takes to be a good team. And I don't trust a single person on the Jets to be like, that dude's a playmaker. That's a dude who we need to stop. That's a dude who we're not going to be able to stop. I don't think they have anybody on their team like that.
I think it's one of those situations where the Jets as a whole especially after this past season, are overhyped. Like they did so well and they like played above what they should have, that now everybody has this expectation or everybody's looking at them as, better than they really are.
Yep.
So I agree with you 100%. I think this is a poor move if he does decide to do it. And like I said earlier, it adds nothing to his legacy. So why do it? Like if
I agree.
If it were me, the man's a Hall of Famer. He's won the Super Bowl. Like, go retire, take a second, enjoy life, retirement, and then go get that like Hall of Fame like award ceremony that you deserve. Enjoy that life. Go to the Super Bowls and like hang out in the owner's box. Be like, I was down there when I was, your age. Let me tell you something.
I think Aaron's buying his own hype. I think that The Jets bought their own hype. And I'll tell you, somebody else who I think is buying their own hype, the New York Giants, the other New York team. I think that they absolutely bought their own hype this year, bringing back Daniel Jones on this massive contract, franchise tagging Saquon Barkley. This seems like a disaster in the making, in my opinion.
Yeah. I 100% agree. It's hard to argue against Saquon. The man is a beast when he's healthy. And to me, that's kind of the key, is when he's healthy. He's hurt a lot, but the man is arguably one of the best running backs in the league. Keyword, when he's healthy. But I agree with you. Daniel Jones coming back and on that much money, he played well last year, but it's a similar situation with the Jets. I think he played above his means, and now he's just reaping the rewards,
Yeah. So we saw 3 big contracts get signed over the last couple of days. One of them was Daniel Jones, 4-year deal, $82 million guaranteed, $160 million. Geno Smith, 3 years, $75 million, $30 million guaranteed, $40 million packed in incentives. Derek Carr, 4 years, $150 million, $60 million guaranteed. AJ, we saw 3 big contracts. Which one do you think was the worst? Which one do you think was the best?
I don't know, man. I'm going to be real. I think the Daniel Jones ones was the worst. I just don't think he's playing that well. The Derek Carr one, I called that one. I was expecting him to go to the Saints. I knew that was kind of happen, but to me, Daniel Jones has never proved to me that he's worthy of being starting quarterback, let alone to make that much money. I don't know, man. Which one do you think is the worst one? Because I feel like you understand the builds of contracts and teams better than I do in a way. So I wanna hear your opinion on this.
I tend to agree that this Daniel Jones contract is the worst, mostly packed in the $82 million guaranteed in it. It just seems like the ceiling on Daniel Jones is so low. I will say, though, I don't particularly like the Derek Carr contract, just because I don't know what the Saints are. Like the Saints definitely have Chris Olave, who seemed like he was pretty good last year. They still have Alvin Kamara, who, when healthy, incredible running back. But I mean, there's this Michael Thomas situation. This dude, he's still making a ridiculous amount of money, has this massive contract. He's played like 1 game in the last 2-3 years. I mean, if he comes back, if Michael Thomas comes back, Saints might have something, legitimately. Like, they might be a good offense. Defensively, can't say. I don't know. That team's so up and down right now. But they're desperate at quarterback, and they need it. And I don't necessarily think that they overpaid for Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. Whereas Daniel Jones, just like, what are we doing here paying this guy that kind of money? Yeah, I don't. He doesn't make this kind of money on the open market. I think that I don't think you can find anybody who's not a New York Giants fan who thinks that this is a good contract. It just seems completely out of the blue for me. But I will say, one of these 3 contracts is a great contract. And of course, the one that Geno Smith signed. Geno Smith, 3 years, $75 million. He's going to make about $30 million a year, $30 million of it guaranteed total. This is such a good signing for both Geno and the Seahawks. Geno absolutely deserves this contract, finally getting paid after a decade in the NFL. Incredible. So happy for this dude. But it's a team-friendly contract on a team that's on a rebuild with multiple first-round picks. Seattle can still go after a quarterback with what they have the 5th overall pick. They pick up a good young quarterback to work under Geno for the next couple of years. Seattle has an out in this contract if Geno doesn't, perform up to standards, and they can move on from the contract. This is great. This is good for everybody involved.
Yeah, no, you're right. 100%. I think, especially for you as a Seahawks fan, I know you're probably happy with it. I think Geno played well. I think he was consistent. To me, I think Geno was a quarterback that needed an opportunity like Seattle to show his skills. He was stuck proving what he had in a losing Jets organization, like we've complained about earlier. So to me, I think that was, to me, like I said, I think he showed out this last season. I think he performed honestly, to his skill set, if not, just a little below. I think he can do better if they give him a couple more weapons in the offense.
He went into last season without taking first team reps in the training camp.
Exactly.
He was not the number one quarterback in training. I do expect Geno to get better this year.
Agreed, 100%. And like, to your point, with the Saints, I think Derek Carr fits into that. Like I said this previously, I think he fits into that system perfectly. Derek Carr to me is like the new version of.
You called this one
early, because
you called this one early.
It's one of those situations where I just know the Saints organization because I've been watching them so long as our rivals of the Falcons that I'm like, this is the type of quarterback they're looking for. But the one thing that I do worry about, because I agree with you. I think Derek Carr going to this team, if Michael Thomas, there it is. Name was right here. If Michael Thomas does show up, he's one of those players that makes a difference. And I think he's the type of player that gets emotional about how he plays. And if he doesn't have the team around him that he believes can't bring him to his A game, it seems to me that, bro's number one viewer of the Saints. Yeah, you're not wrong. I've watched them a lot and I hate them, but it's one of those situations where I think he will show up now that he has a good quarterback behind him. It's somebody that he can rely on. He's been waiting for a consistent quarterback because let's be real, Andy Dalton as their main quarterback last year is not great. The man has
been cycling through ever since Drew Brees left. It's been ridiculous.
Jameis Winston didn't have any plays over there. It's one of those things where now that Carr is there, he gets what he's been missing in an organization that wants him and an organization that will build around him. And I genuinely believe an organization fit for him, as well as a lot of weapons with Kamara, with Thomas, and like the receiving court isn't bad with Olave as well. And you mentioned their defense. It's not great. It's not bad, but they got the honey badger, man. Like you can't count them out. So I think the Saints, especially because they're in the division that they're in, unless there's a big uptake in the Falcons, I think the Saints are the shoe-in to go to the playoffs from that division, honestly.
I agree. It would depend on what happens with the Buccaneers quarterback situation. Yeah, exactly. If they bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that they could be a real contender there. If that entire team gets healthy. But yeah, I do think it is a smart move to try to take over an extremely weak division right now, and bringing in Derek Carr can absolutely do that. This next topic we got, AJ, is kind of an interesting one. I'm just going to let you work with this one because it's kind of all you. The NHL might be coming back to Atlanta. The Atlanta Thrashers could potentially be coming back. AJ, talk to me about the Thrashers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I saw a post about this the other day, and it kind of shocked me. Apparently, Atlanta is in the lead for the expansion teams that the NHL is planning, and they are like the number one, apparently, potential expansion team. And to me, that's great. I'm excited. I was a Thrashers fan when I was younger. Blue Land was what we called it. It's one of those situations where I think it's great for the league in general. The fact that the NHL is growing when only a few years ago they had poor viewership. Like there was like a lockout season too. It's great to see that change. It's going to be hard for me to choose between the New Jersey Devils and the New Thrashers. I'm hoping they bring back the cool jerseys. But
do you think that they'll still be they come back? Do you think they're going to be the Thrashers again?
If they're not the Thrashers, I'd be very surprised. But I don't think it really matters. I think the main thing is, sorry, Jason Wright is asking, who are the closest teams in location?
It would be Nashville, right?
Tampa Bay would be one. Nashville Predators would be another one. Yeah, I think those would be the two.
Yeah, I think Nashville would be the closest.
I mean, my only concern is, it's the same concern that people brought up when they were talking about bringing Atlanta United to the MLS team to Atlanta. And is Atlanta a hockey town? They questioned, are we a soccer town? And we answered back, yeah, we are. Yeah. And within 2 years, the United won the MLS Cup. Hockey, I think that's another question. Me as a kid growing up in Atlanta, I never ever saw anybody playing street hockey or hockey. It's not cold. There's no ice. It's not a real big sport there. So I feel like there's still maybe issues and
Well,
as far as
I think
bringing the
over the
fan
last
base
couple of
back, but
years, I think the NHL has reasons to be confident in bringing an expansion team to Atlanta. When you've seen like how well the Golden Knights were embraced. Now, of course, that was back when they were the only sports team in Las Vegas, but I mean, it still shows that
True.
wasn't a hockey town before the Golden Knights got there. And then you've seen a lot of people, Seattle's, of course, really embraced the Kraken. The expansion teams so far that the NHL has done over the last several years have been really, really successful. And I would be surprised if Atlanta, a really sports hungry town that supports, I mean, the Atlanta Dream is a pretty well supported team in women's national basketball. So I don't expect an NHL team coming there to perform much worse.
The only reason why I am a little nervous, honestly, is genuinely because Atlanta fans are fickle, in the fact that if you're winning, we love you. We will cheer you on. We will come out to your games in flocks. We will have great tailgates. But if you are losing and you don't do well within like multiple seasons, it's going to be empty. Tickets are going to be like $5. They're going to be begging you to come in.
Yeah, it is a town that's saturated with sports. You have the Atlanta Braves, who have consistently been good over the last 10 years. You have the Falcons, who are just the Falcons are going to own that town forever now. Like I think that they're the number. It's either the Braves or them that are the number one. I tend to think that the Falcons are a bit more popular, just because the NFL is the NFL. But yeah, I think that teams have had early success. These expansion teams, the Golden Knights went to the finals their first year in the league, I think. Yep. It's with the expansion draft, the way things are set up, it's easy to succeed early in the NHL right now. So I'm not big on the name though. That's the only thing for me. The Thrashers, it just doesn't seem like a sports team name.
You're not wrong. I really hope that there is a logo like change up. I also want them to follow the entire Atlanta color like sports team like color scheme that we have going. There's only like 2 teams that did Freddie Amiel call us the Trashers?
No, I have a typo in the graphics. The Atlanta Trashers could be back.
Oh, that's great. Kudos on calling that out.
We missed an H.
You're not wrong. Honestly, it's not the best name. The reason why it's called the Thrashers is because the thrasher is the Georgia state bird. So that's why they like tried to like incorporate that. But I'd love to see a new logo, a new change up. I would love to see red and black color combo, because you got that for the Hawks, you got that for the Falcons, you got that for the MLS team, the United. The only teams that don't have it are the Dream and the Braves, but the Braves have like red and blue, which is close enough.
And I mean, the Braves are way older than everybody else, so
exactly, yeah,
they get a pass.
They came from Milwaukee, so it doesn't count.
Okay, so this next topic is really, really interesting. This flew under the radar over the weekend. Nobody was talking about it, and I wanted to save it for the show.
I had to ask beforehand because I was like, "Wait, what?" But go on, tell everybody, catch them
if
up.
You go check out the podcast, God Bless Football. Mike Golick's on it almost every single week. Part of the Meadowlark Media company, which also owns or at least is partnered with Renee Montgomery's podcast. So go check it out. Mike Golick said that he wants to be a head coach. He wants to work in the XFL. He wants to do, maybe AFL when it comes back. And the host of God Bless Football asked Mike Golick how serious he was about this, how much he wanted to be a coach, if he would be willing to go down, do arena leagues, they asked, do fan-controlled league. Mike Golick said if he was given full control over coaching, he would do any league that offered him a coaching position. So, AJ, should fan-controlled football make serious moves to bring Mike Golick in as a head coach?
Honestly, yeah. Like, why not? Like, it's just another big name to bring alongside. Like, I love Coach Liotta. Don't get me wrong. Great guy. But if we can bring, like, Mike Golick into the FCF, maybe, like, even if he's not head coach of the league, can I get him to be like, the offensive coordinator of like the Apes, or the defensive coordinator of the Apes or something? Like,
make a new team, and that's the Mike Golick team.
That would be
Mike Golick. He's the head coach of that team.
Just come to the Apes. We'll just test it out with the Apes for one season, see how that works. I think it's a great thing. I think as many names. The fact that he even I'm not saying that he shouldn't know it, but the fact that he knows and name dropped us in the podcast and is like, yes, I'm more than willing to go there. I think that's great. I think it's an opportunity that needs to be jumped on. And like I said, just more eyes, more media attention to our league. Why wouldn't we want that?
What really interests me about this move, if it ever happened, is that he wants to coach. He wants to have an active role inside a league. He doesn't. I mean, look. So, some of the owners in the FCF better than others. I'm not going to name any names, but some of them don't do as much as the others. Some of these owners I haven't heard from in a really, really long time to talk about their teams. If Mike Golick is showing up coaching, he's going to be there. He's going to be an active participant in the league, and that means he's going to care about it more. That's what's interesting to me, and I think they should absolutely pursue this.
I mean, the only reason why I'm hesitant to like make him an owner is because it then changes the dynamic of the league a little and like how the league runs. So like for the people that don't know, the FCF is all like run by one head coach and Coach Sean Liotta, and they all practice together. All the teams practice together. They usually go by like, position, like wide receivers go here, run drills, quarterbacks, wide receivers get together. They do that. Quarterbacks do their own drills. Defense go on another side. Offensive line's the other. And a lot of the time it's because of the way the league is built, they all practice together until basically the playoffs, because that, nobody knows what the teams are. It's constant flux. And I feel like if we do that, it's going to be a little awkward for the players each week that have been chosen to be on his team, because they're going to be like specifically coached by him, and he may have like a certain way of handling stuff that the other head coaches don't. So there could be some weirdness in that, but I would love to see it. Honestly, I think it'd be amazing. Even if he's just one of the like position coaches and then gets a team in the playoffs like they did last year, that would be great. Like I think he has his
whatever
own team
it is
only in the playoffs. That'd be cool.
Whatever it is, I think it's a problem worth solving. I think we should we
100%.
should just figure it out. Whatever we got to do. Because I think that he's an amazing personality. When I first really got into sports, it was by watching Mike and Mike in the morning every single day on ESPN. I think Mike Golick's amazing. So whatever they got to do to bring him in the FCF, I think you'd do it. That's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Josh, Rob, Deez, I don't know who we need to talk to. I know Ruthless is here and watching. Rosie, you're listening. You listen to us during dinner. We've been told. Tell Josh, your dad, who you call Josh, to go get Mike Golick on the phone. And just another great idea from Don't Khahs a Ruckus. You're welcome, guys.
All right, we got one more topic before we get into the super fun stuff. We got a trailer for a new.
This is fun.
The super fun stuff. Okay, I think we close out the most fun topic every week is I think what we close the show with. But we got a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer. That's a lot of T's.
I wanted Teenage Mutant Ninja Tailors. Just a bunch of
Teenage Mutant Ninja Tailor
dudes with like measuring tapes just going around making
sure Taylor Lautner.
All the Taylors, Taylor Lautner, Taylor
Swift.
Yep. Yep, there it is.
But it's being made. This is being made by Seth Rogen. AJ, you watched the trailer. What did you think of it?
I didn't watch the full trailer. I only watched like the sneak peek. But it was I saw all the cast announcements, and it's like Seth Rogen. There's so many, and I can't remember any of them. None of the turtles. Oh, Jackie Chan was Splinter. Who? John Cena was Bebop. No, Bebop. Rocksteady. That's what it was. And Bebop was Seth Rogen. I don't know. We got it. Anyway,
yeah, Bebop is Seth Rogen.
Yeah, and then the scary dude from Breaking Bad is the scientist, which I think is
Baxter Stockman. Yeah.
So,
Giancarlo Esposito's playing. I mean, you have like Hannibal Buress, Maya Rudolph, Rose Byrne, Paul Rudd is in this. But like
the best part is they're bringing in really like
it's kids. They have kids playing
the turtles,
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's so cool. I think that this
It's,
movie's going to be amazing.
Dude, I'm really excited about it purely because Jackie Chan is Splinter.
That's pretty sweet.
That's such a good cast. The cast in general will be great, but like the fact that it looks like they're keeping to the original comic, and the fact that they made April, African American. She was in the original comic series. I love that. The people that are in uproar about that, get over yourself.
Idiots.
Go look at the original comic. She has always been depicted up until the 90s cartoon the way she's being depicted now, and I think it's great. I'm excited for it. And
the tone of this trailer, the comedy in it, the way that it feels like these are just 4 teenage, like at the beginning when they're holding up the watermelon and throwing the daggers at it and stuff, like that feels like a bunch of teenage. Like I don't know. I came from like a small town in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have a lot of stuff to do when we were teenagers, so yeah, we were like throwing knives at stuff. I think it's super cool. I think the comedy is amazing. It's this thing where it's so rare to see somebody take a franchise like this the way Seth Rogen has, and I think he's the main writer on it. I think he has a partner. He's the producer on it. But where this feels both very, very a fresh take on the Turtles, but still extremely authentic to what you think about the Turtles. Like they're new voices, it's a new tone, but it's still consistent with what's come before. I love the Turtles. One of my favorite comics of all time is IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle TMNT. So good. Check it out. Last Ronin that came out a couple of years ago. One of the best comic books I've read in a long time.
So good.
The first issue of that comic is incredible. Amazing.
The fact that they don't allow you to know who is the last Ronin for so long is great.
Yeah. It's so good.
No,
absolutely.
But I'm in love with this movie. With you.
I'm in the theaters first day.
Oh yeah, but I think Seth Rogen did a great job on bringing that nostalgia, that that level of there's hints to the original 90s cartoon and the way they're shaped, but also it brings in the new flavor of what the kids have seen already with Donatello wearing glasses, being a little nerdy, and 100% they're just kids acting like kids. It's great. And to me, the thing that stands out the most is, Hellbreaker, you're 100% right. Post Malone as Ray Fillet, Paul too. Those characters that they're playing are so obscure, man. So obscure. I'm pretty sure only some of them are like the only time they have ever been referenced was in like the actual like action figure design. So they're like co-action figures that you can get with something else, like especially Ray Fillet. So I'm just... Yes, I love when obscure. My favorite thing about comics and comic movies today are how many obscure characters that no one else has ever heard of can you bring in and do it so organically. And I'm so stoked about it, man. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for our main topics today. We do have our last topic, which every single week we do. Off the top 3. This is a game we like to play every week. AJ and I are going to make top 3 lists off the top of our head. I've got a topic for AJ. AJ has a topic for me. Neither of us know what those topic is. AJ, this week for you, I want to know, what are your top 3 favorite indie comics? No Marvel, no DC, independent comics. What are your top 3?
Okay. Okay. Umbrella Academy, probably.
Fantastic.
This is in no order. I'm going to say Umbrella Academy is 1. There's this weird run of comics that I really got into when I was younger called Greek Street. And it's a lot of like Greek mythologies and Greek tragedies, but adapted to modern day like times with like graphic novel settings. I loved it. The narrators were the Fates, and it was just really well written, well like woven storytelling. Now the last one is hard because there's so many. There's like the Critical Role Image run. There's a lot of just like Image Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I like, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with an old one because like it's been something that I've been loving reading recently, and it's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Image or
Boom.
like it's
Boom
or
Studios.
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah.
was like Boom Studios. Yeah, and man,
Those are
it's
so good.
like
the first, I mean, if you just do everything up through the Lord Draken run of just like that initial, it's the best Power Rangers has ever been.
100%, because they can do things, they can act, like make the characters do certain things that you will never be able to see in a kid's show. And yeah, the Lord Draken in general, the whole power grid, like interweaving all these numerous like years of Power Rangers into something cohesive. It's honestly, if you grew up loving the Power Rangers and want to like go watch it and realize it doesn't hold the test of time, go read these comics because this is what you're wanting.
It's what you remember Power Rangers being when you read those comics.
Exactly. Even though when you go back to it, it's way not good.
I have watched all of Power Rangers as an adult. Went back, watched everything from the OG all the way up through it. I've seen it all. I'm a huge Power Rangers fan, and yeah, most of it not great.
Yeah, that's commitment. Was that a pandemic choice?
No, I started that back. I started in like 2012, where it was just I was bored. You know, I've done with school, not doing much, just sitting around, just like I could watch all the Power Rangers.
I feel like that's like that's gonna be a TikTok trend or something. Like I've been watching this TikTok with this kid. No, he's not a kid. He's like 30 something years old, 28 years old. And he's like, all my friends have talked about Naruto my whole life and I've never watched it. And I'm going to start watching today. And he's like, every day it's like, you know, like 27-year-old watching Naruto for the first time. I'm at episode 677. This dude is wild. Like he's going around killing people. I feel like that's what an adult needs to do now, but with Power Rangers, it's like, all right, Tommy's a bad guy. I don't remember that. This kid Justin is a child that turns into an adult. What? How does that happen? And why does no one make any reference?
Why does nobody care?
Ever? Well, it's because, you know, the adults were filmed in Japan and we intercut American actors with Japanese shows. What? Movie magic. Okay. This is a good one. Since we've been talking about Power Rangers a lot, what three children's 90s TV show, because I'm assuming you grew up in the 90s like I did.
Yep.
TV show would you bring back as a reboot in like movie form?
As a reboot.
So like you could think of like Beetleborgs or VR Troopers or like Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna say one just because I know it's going around in like the TikTok and stuff right now, but I would totally watch a Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide revival.
Yeah, because they have that podcast out.
They have that podcast. They've talked about potentially doing one that Nickelodeon passed on. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I would watch it. Okay, if you're wondering who the audience for that is, it's me. It's
us. Yeah.
I know that it's been brought back a couple times, but Invader Zim, I'm always down for more Invader Zim. I don't care what form I get it. I love that show. It's so good. And then, would be really, really good. I think.
All right, while you're thinking, shout out to Jim saying he wants a reboot of the cartoon Reboot. I feel like he's being serious, but it's also funny to say at the same time.
That show was actually pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. That show was pretty dope.
I feel like they did 100%. They did bring that back. I was like, they brought that back already. It's on Netflix.
What's tough about this is that it's finding stuff that hasn't already been brought back, right? Because I love G.I. Joe. I love Snake Eyes. There was a Snake Eyes movie that came out 2 years ago, so I can't say Snake Eyes. Freakazoid.
Yes. I'm 100. They brought back Animaniacs. Bring back Freakazoid.
Freakazoid was so good. It was way ahead of its time. It was super funny.
Super
It's
sarcastic.
amazing show. Bring back Freakazoid.
Yeah. Oh man, I reference Freakazoid so much, and my fiance, like, she gets it sometimes, but like I've like laughed so hard when I'm like, I'm not going in there. There's poo gas, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "There's poo gas. No, I don't need to be a superhero right now. It's poo gas." And she's like, "Get over yourself." I'm like, you don't.
Oh man,
get it.
everybody in you this is a great time because everybody in chat's going through Angry Beavers from Hellbreaker, High Flyer, Wonder Pets,
Yeah.
Heathcliff. Oh my god.
Digimon.
Oh,
No, I
Digimon.
like
But yeah,
that.
they do
They're still
Digimon like
doing
every
that.
now and then, you know.
They
But
just
like yeah.
they don't English dub it anymore. It's all Japanese. You got to go find the subtitles. And I just hit the mic. Sorry. Calling myself out.
Yeah. Well, geez. DuckTales. Afro. Thank you.
Well,
DuckTales. I mean, they brought it back recently, but it didn't have the OG theme song. The OG theme song. That's what I love.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. The most recent DuckTales that just got canceled needs to also come back because like
Yeah.
it was great. Danny Pudi as one of as Huey. All the voice actors on that were great, in my opinion. Especially Scrooge McDuck. He was what's his face? The former Doctor. Doctor Who. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
He was also in Harry
Is it
Potter.
David Tennant?
David Tennant, yeah, he was Scrooge McDuck. Like,
Oh, really?
It's one of the best Scrooge McDucks ever. Cowboy
Afro
Bebop.
bringing up everybody's favorite sequel to the Jungle Book, Tailspin.
Oh yeah, no, that one I was hoping for that. They made like a reference that and Darkwing Duck. Yes, they both made references to that in the latest DuckTales, and everybody was so hyped. They were excited.
If you're
and thought
super
they were
into
gonna have a
Darkwing
DuckTales
Duck, there was a Darkwing Duck comic book that came out
comic series,
almost
yeah.
like almost 10 years ago now. That comic was amazing.
There's a new one out now. I saw it last week when I went into the comic book
Yeah?
store. There's a new Darkwing Duck series, and I feel like I bought it. I want to go run and grab it from like my comic book stash, but next week.
Next week.
But
I
yeah,
forgot
there's a
about
new
Duck.
Darkwing Duck comic out. If you guys want to go grab it, go
I'll have to
grab
pick,
it.
because the old one was amazing, and yeah, so I bet I'm gonna have to break out the iPad, go re-download
Go get a
Comixology.
Kindle. Yeah, Comixology.
Yeah. All right.
mean,
Well, I think that's
why
going to wrap
not?
it up for this week's Don't Cause a Ruckus. Thanks for everybody in the chat throwing out these amazing TV shows, giving me a huge nostalgia trip. You can also be in the chat if you're listening to this right now. We go live on twitch.tv/fancontrolsports every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So hop in the chat and you can talk with us about your favorite 90s TV shows or whatever. We also go live on podcast services and YouTube. So just go check those out. Give them a like, give it a subscribe. Just check the Fan Controlled Sports Podcast Network or go to youtube.com/@fancontrolledsports. But until next time, keep the ruckus to a minimum.
The superstars of Fan Control Football Season 2.0 are not only the who's who of celebrity team owners and influencers, not the 21 million live views of our Emmy-nominated broadcast. Across Twitch, DAZN, Fubo, NBCLX, Peacock. Or our highlights that scored over 100 million views. And we can't forget best-in-class sponsors. But the biggest star of Season 2 is our play calling app that allow fans to control the action on the field. Fans pick a team, pick a play, 4 run plays, 4 pass plays to choose from. The play with the most votes is called in real time.
We got it.
This is where video games and live action come to life. And now, Fan Control Sports and Entertainment brings you Fan Controlled Hoops, where fans call the shots. Coming 2023, the future of sports is here, and it's Fan Control.